1 May 2021, and today I'm joined by Mr. Phugeni. In fact, Senator Phugeni. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. How are you? It's okay as Mr. Phugeni. I'm okay with that.
No, I have a lot of respect for you and for the position that you hold in the legislature of our country, and I really appreciate that you give yourself time to come here and talk to me. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Of course, I'm speaking to you, but I'm also cognizant that I'm speaking to a wider audience, and that's the other reason, really, that makes me come every now and then.
Thank you very much. And today, I don't want to take a lot of your time. I want us to go straight into the issue, very controversial. There are some amendments which have passed the lower house of Zimbabwe, and they are now in the upper house where you sit. And you have been very outspoken against some of the amendments that are going to be done in the Constitution. And I want us to get a clear understanding of your position on these amendments. Can you take us through the process? Where is it now?
Okay. Yes, as you have correctly said, we're now dealing with amendment number 2. Amendment number 1 did go through the National Assembly, and it also went through the Senate. So we're now dealing with amendment number 2, which has gone through the National Assembly, and it's now with us at the Senate. You would have probably seen a lot of headlines after the debate on Tuesday. In fact, that was my maiden speech. But the issues before us were of such grave importance that one needed to come and debate, and in the manner which I did, notwithstanding the fact that it was a maiden speech, but it was important that we conscientize our people what exactly are we dealing with. So I'm just going to deal with 2 issues which I debated. The rest I'll leave for others because there are 6 of them, and others are probably more eloquent than myself. But these are things that are so close to my heart, and I'm very passionate about it. I argued on 2 issues. I said, number 1, that because you would have heard that amongst the 6 proposed changes to the Constitution, the biggest argument is that vote for it because it's got the extension of women, representation of women, the quota, which is sitting about 22% right now. There's that extension for the next 2 terms of parliament, which is in the next 10 years. And then there is also the quota of the youth. And my argument was, no, we already have this in the Constitution, and we've got more than what you're offering us. So basically, we shouldn't take this as if it's an act of benevolence by somebody else right now. The minister was basically giving us nothing. If anything, he was taking away from us. Now, how do I come to that conclusion? If you go to the Constitution, that will be Section 17. Section 17 deals with gender balance. It says, clause 1, the state must promote full gender balance, full, not partial. The state must promote full gender balance in Zimbabwe society, and in particular, and then it says, A, the state must promote full participation of women in all spheres of Zimbabwe society on the basis of equality with men. Equality with men. The state must take all measures. Listen to this. This is very instructive, Kambako. The state must take all measures, including legislative measures, needed to ensure that both genders are equally represented in all institutions and agencies of government at every level. And women constitute at least half the membership of all commissions and other elective and appointed governmental bodies established by and under this Constitution or Act of Parliament. So it was on this basis when I said that you are giving us ice in a snow, you are selling us ice in a snow, because the Constitution gives us more than what they want us to be happy about, saying we're extending, because the current quota represents 22% of women in the National Assembly. 22%, Kambako. When the Constitution gives us 50%. So there is no need for anyone to celebrate. If anything, we must frown at what they are trying to do to us when they want us to believe that we've been done some favor, that women have been promoted, that a good thing has been done for women. No good thing has been done for them, because if it has to pass in the manner that it is, it means that for the next 10 years, if you start from where the constitution started in 2013, it will mean for 20 years, Zimbabwean women will be relegated to just 22% representation in parliament, when actually they constitute 52% of the society. How do you take 52% of the people and then you make them 22% representation in parliament? That's extremely unfair. That's extremely unbalanced, and it doesn't make sense at all. And then the other issue that I really raised as well was the issue of youth. Because then they said, no, look, there is this good provision that youth are going to be represented in parliament and in councils and whatsoever, and we're supposed to be excited about that. No, the constitution actually gives us more than that. Because the constitution also states that, and that's section 20 now, it says youth, the state and all institutions and agencies of government at every level must take reasonable measures, including affirmative action. Affirmative action programs to ensure that youth, that is to say, people between the ages of 15 and 35, have access to appropriate education and training, have opportunities to associate and to be presented and participate in political, social, economic, and other spheres of life. So there is nothing that we are being given here which we do not have. The Constitution as the supreme law. At the end of this parliament, which will have meant that the quota for women expires, it would have been unconstitutional if it expired and nothing else happened. I would have been looking at a situation, which is what I suggested in parliament. I said, if we are going to change the constitution, let it read that instead of the 6 per province women a quota, make it 10. What that will do is it will raise the level from 22% to about 33% representation. Then after the 2 terms of this parliament, the coming parliament in 2023, then you go to a proportional representation system where you make it clear that 50% of the people submitted in parliament are women. And then in that way, we will be happy to entertain other changes. But anything short of that, we will not accept it, or I personally would not accept that.
Okay, that's a good statement, because your political party, the MDCT, appears to be accepting, at least the senators that are not saying the same thing with you, they appear to be accepting these changes for those same reasons. That is the youth quota and the women's quota, including your president. He came out and said he supports the changes, the amendments, because of those 2 changes. Is that not a contradiction?
No, well, I don't want to speak for anyone. And I think now it's for obvious reasons why I should not try and speak for anyone. What I will try and do is to speak for myself. And I will, and what I will do is, in speaking for myself, I will use logic, common sense. Let me not even use logic. I'll just use common sense. Come back. I've just read for you. This is the Constitution of Zimbabwe. And I've just read for you that the women quota we have, because the public will be forgiven when they hear such arguments that says, in the absence of this, then, you know, this is better, because it gives an impression that parliament is dealing with a hand that they've been given, you know. But it's untrue, because it is our responsibility as parliament, as you heard the constitution say, that we need to use legislation to make sure that women are empowered to reach the level of equality with men. It can't get more explicit than that. So this thing is not done somewhere else. This thing is done by us as parliament. It's us who are doing it. So if we're going to sit down and amend the constitution, we must be amending it in furtherance of its objectives. And what are the objectives of the constitution? The objectives of the constitution is that women must be equal with men ultimate. That's what it's pushing for. So to sit and say, well, we will accept the the 22% representation of women. No, it's oppression.
Okay,
Dominion
now,
by one
I
gender.
get you, and I'm cognizant that you need to go because you don't have much time today. Let's go to the other 3 amendments. The running mate clause, the judges' appointment by the president, the judges' ages being expanded or being extended beyond 70 years, and increasing the number of ministers appointed by the president who are not MPs. Are you agreeing with those?
The running mate clause, that's another one that I really argued strongly in my debate, in my maiden speech. I made it clear that, you see, it also speaks to the issue of gender equality and also the issue of the historically marginalized communities. That you cannot have a situation where we have seen, even if you leave the institutions of government, but on this one it's important because the Constitution enjoins us as Parliament to make sure that all the institutions of government, there's justice, there's fairness, there's equality. I will take, for example, the issue of Mayor Joyce Muchuri and even Dr. Khuphe. You have seen how they've been treated by males in their own respective political parties. You see, so at least you can't ignore the fact that it also speaks to those issues of the minorities and even gender issues. Remember, it is said that you can judge a society by the way it treats its women and the vulnerable. That's how you judge a society. If you find a society that wants to use hegemony against its own people, because it is the majority that can always protect the interest of the minority. And in this case, that's what I'm appealing for. And I'm saying, for too long as men, we have had it. It's about time that we consider. After all, women are a majority in this country. They're a majority in this country. Maybe there's something I'm missing, Kambako, and I need to be educated on this. What is so wrong or what is so bad about women? What is so bad about our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, and our grandmothers that we think there's something fair and noble about it to shut them out from fully participating in an equal footing with men? Maybe there's something I'm missing. When it comes to the issue of judges, especially the retirement age, raising it from 70 to 75. I personally sympathize with the minister on this one because judges like wine, they mature with age. And you don't want to be losing judges when they are at their prime at 70. It's unfortunate that the argument which he then makes, they just keep changing. There are times when he says, he speaks well of the American system, and then when it doesn't favor him, then he speaks not so good about it. That's the unfortunate thing. But the argument I really sympathize with it that says you cannot lose such valuable institutional memory and just lose it at the age of 70. You will see world over judges, they go even up to 8 years. So the argument that says when somebody reaches 70, they are not fit for purpose anymore, I wouldn't agree with it at all. I think we've got evidence all around us to show that people with that type of training and experience at that age, they are really at the peak of their profession. So I sympathize with that one completely. I also appreciate that he says the interviews may well go ahead. So it's not like the president is just picking. No, it's the Judicial Service Commission as well that will still recommend to the president. So the interviews may well go ahead, but he simply says he does not want the interview to be public. He just wants the interview to be dignified and made private. So I wouldn't push very strong against that. There were just few wording that the Right Honorable Senator Monzora wanted changed, and there were some sticking points there. The issue of devolution, I don't think there's been much debate there because the text doesn't seem to be as controversial maybe as others. We hope that that will be a full devolution that will allow provinces to be in charge of their affairs, which will then allow them really to spur forward this economic development and revival and take care of their own affairs. So I really have to rush, my friend. But what was important is I wanted to hone in on those two that I did debate in Parliament.
Right. I really appreciate that you made this time. But there's one thing that I wanted us to just inform the people before you leave. Where is the process now and what is next?
What is next is that we'll be back in the House on Tuesday, still on that amendment number 2. Most likely there's going to be a vote. I'm not sure. It will depend on how far the process is going to go as we, through the committee stage and the debating stage and see. But I'm just hoping that cool heads will prevail. But as for me, Kalpani Phugeni, I can tell you, if we don't move that that quota of women from 6 per province to 10 per province with a commitment, not a piecemeal, but not just words, but a strong commitment that after the 10 years of that quota, we are going to a PR where it's 50% women, 50% men. No, I can't support something that is completely against the Constitution. The Constitution is clear what is its aims and objectives. Its aims and objectives is to balance this society and make it equal. And I cannot be part of a process that does seem to clearly undermine those objectives.
Okay. Senator Kalipani Phugeni, I really wanted to talk to you for longer. Is it possible that on Wednesday or whenever the bill is passed, we call you back to give us more details on what has happened?
Oh, yes, certainly. Yeah, certainly we can do that.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. And I do not want to take any more of your time. If anyone wants to call you, your number is on the screen. They need to WhatsApp you, and then they can arrange an appointment to talk to you. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. No, thank you. By the way, these things, when you say this, I get flooded with a lot of calls, but I would appreciate if they could probably happen after Tuesday. I think then that will be better because there's quite some things I really need to look at, and I don't want to be ignoring people. So if I'm not responding to you, it's because of what I've just said. But definitely after Tuesday or Tuesday evening, I will be attending to them.
Okay, so please note that you can only call Senator Phugeni for very urgent issues. And I understand what you're saying. Very, very busy period for you. And we'll distribute a copy of the Hansard so that people can read your full debate. I'll put it on the website soon after this interview.
Okay, you know that you can also add, and where people put comments, if you do something there, yours will be right on top there. So you can edit it as well and people will get it.
Okay, I'll do so, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thanks, Kambakwe, and thanks to the listeners at home.